Alright, this video we're going to talk about both logical operators and comparison operators. We're going to start with the latter. These will be really useful coming up in the next video or so when I start talking about if statements and while loops and things like that. We're also going to introduce a new type called a Boolean. And here we go. First of all, I'll go ahead and just discuss Boolean because you're going to see it in just a second. A Boolean is just another type, just like there's the int and string and float, like I've shown already. A Boolean, it holds two values, true and false. So that's all there is to it. It's either true or false. All right, with comparison operators, they're all going to be stuff that you've seen in math class. There's the first one is equality. In our case, the regular equal sign would be assignment. We use double equal for equality. It's just the syntax that we have. Some other languages will use a different syntax. Go ahead and get interactive mode started. And so I can just show them to you real quick. So equality would do exactly what you'd expect. Say is 5 equal to 3? Well, no, it's not. So it says false. This false is the Boolean I'm talking about. I said 5 equals 5. You're going to get true. Okay. Then there's all the other standard ones you'd expect. You'd have, um, greater than, 5 greater than 3, that's true. Then there's less than you can look at. It's less than, that's false. And I'm not going to show the true and false on both of these because I think you're smart enough to tell if it's true or false. You got so far we've done equality, less than, and greater than. There's also less than and equal to, which is the less than sign followed by the equal sign, and greater than or equal to, which is, you guessed it, greater than followed by the equal sign. There's also not equal. You can check for inequality. Which, I believe it's it's a not symbol followed by the equal sign. Yes, that's right. And 5 does not equal 3, so that is true. Also, as an alternative notation for not equals, you can also do this, which is, less than or greater than is what that means. You can look at it like that if you want, which would also imply not equal. It's just another syntax thing you can do. And 5 does not equal 3, so that's true, just like we expect. I just wanted to show that one. This is probably what you're going to normally see people use, but other languages actually use this exclusively, so if you can recognize it now, then when you go into other languages, even better. Alright, but that's basically the comparison operators. They're going to return a true or false. You can compare numbers, you can compare strings, you can compare floats. You just have to be careful with the with the types there, make sure they kind of match up. Next thing is logical operators. There's three of them. You have and, or, and not. And these are actually, with the exception of not, and or actually or allow you to chain two comparison operators together. So, and you'll see reasoning behind this as we do actual coding, but say you want to know if 5 is less than 3 and actually let's not do 5 less than 3. Let's do it this way. 5 is greater than 3 and 5 is greater than 4. You're going to see true there. Because what and does is you can see and is it checks both sides. And if both sides are true, it returns true. If either side is false, it returns false. Case in point, say it changes to 5 is greater than 8. Well, this side's true, but that side's false. So you'll get a false back. So since it's and, that means both have to be true for it to return, for it to allow a true to be returned. And then an or, just kind of like it implies by the name, an or is going to compare both sides again, but as long as one side is true, that's all it cares about. So in this case, the right side is true, or I'm sorry, the left side is true, the right side's false, but since at least one side is true, it's going to return true. Now, if I did 5 is greater than 9 or 5 is greater than 8, both of those are false, so it return a false. The last one is not. It only requires one argument next to it on the right side of it, so you could say not and then whatever you want to do, and that flips the value on it. So let's just make a Boolean variable real quick, and we'll just type one up called a set to false. Okay, so you can see it's false. And you can say not a, it'll flip it to true. And then if a is true, oops, you have to use a capital T. then you could say not A again, it would flip it to false. And you can also do it with other ways. Like say if I had, let's do one real quick. You can combine these different logical operators to do things. So let's say not, and we'll say, see, 2 is greater than 1, and 2 is greater than 1, and 2 is greater than 0. Okay, and since this is just like in typical, order of operations of math, since this stuff is inside of a parentheses, it's going to get calculated first. You see 2 is greater than 1, which is true. 2 greater than 0, which is also true. And since both, and with this and there, since they're both true, it would say true. But then this not will flip the value. Whoop. Oh, actually indented. I haven't talked about that yet, but you don't want to add spaces at the beginning of lines in Python because it actually means something. Well, but anyway, both of these are true, so this would say true, but because of the not that happens afterwards, it flips the value. If I turn around and change this to say 2 is less than 1, then this is false, and that's true. Since they're both not true, this part would become a false because that and would only becomes true, only return lets the true happen if both are true. So this would become false, and then the not would flip the value, and you'd see true. That's the basic quick little rundown on logical and comparison operators, and we will see a lot more of this stuff very soon.